Okay. Hi Renu, how are you doing?
Hi Rajiv, I'm quite good. How are you?
So far, so good. Nice to talk with you again after a long time. We spoke
Same
last time
here.
when you came on the guest meet chat where you got onboarded on this event, and in between we were having a couple of dates shifted because of our own busy schedule. I'm happy to have you today on the event again. So thank you so much for accepting the invitation and coming on board.
My sincere thanks to you for this invitation.
Anytime.
And I
So
look
before
forward.
Yeah, I look forward to this chat. Before we get started and talk on this very, very powerful book that you have chosen, let me have the honor of introducing you to the audience. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever part of the world you are going to be sitting while you listen to Renu, the guest of the day. All of you attended season one of Leaders and Libraries. You had 33 global guests coming and talking on 22 powerful books. Season two has 40 leaders talking on 40 exclusive, powerful books. That's a massive set of leaders on a massive set of books. We have yet another guest for the day, Ms. Renu Bora, CHRO, DB Shankar, one of world's leading global logistics providers with presence across 1,200 locations across the world, with I think 140 years of experience in this particular space. That's massive. And the beauty is she has been with the organization for a decade. In a world where staying for 3 to 4 years is awarded for loyalty, you have a person who's stayed with the system for 10 plus years, which means either she's doing something magical to the system and they have retained her, or the system is doing something magical to her that she stayed back with the organization. But that's an honest compliment for a lot of young leaders that staying with organizations for long has got its own great rewards. So fabulous work. She's somebody who's got experience across all the areas under the umbrella called HR, whether you call them HR strategy, learning and development, OD, talent management, employee engagement, CSR, etc., etc. She has had her hands across all those areas. She's also a certified NLP coach, and you see her on multiple platforms on LinkedIn talking on various areas of her interest under the ambit of HR and people capability. Beyond all these, I'm happy personally to have her because she's also a book lover like me. So thank you so much, Renu. Welcome on board.
Thank you. Thank you for such a beautiful introduction. I'm honored.
Whatever is your, I just read it, so all credit goes to you.
Okay, thanks. It,
Yes.
it sounds very good when somebody else speaks about you.
Oh, I know. I can see the blush on your face. That's lovely. Super, super. Thank you so much. Because you know what, Reno, it's lovely to have people like you who's joining a force of 40 leaders because these set of leaders who are coming in are people with your kind of experience, 20 plus years of experience. It's rock solid work. When such leaders like you come and talk on the impact of books, it's got a tremendous effect and impact on young minds who are wanting to grow in that ladder and reach where you guys have reached. So I think your contribution is absolutely mammoth, and we completely appreciate that contribution. This 45 minutes from your busy schedule that you're investing today is worth it. So thank you so much once again before we get started.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk about books. Books are a common theme that I discuss with my friends. So I'm sure that we have a very interesting conversation because I know that you are a book lover and book enthusiast, and I think you are crusader also because you're running such kind of channels.
Yes, super. So before we get started and delve into a couple of things that the author is talking in the book, let me start with the first question. So tell me, Renu, how did books happen to you? How young were you? A school-going girl or a college-going girl or a corporate executive? How and when the journey started?
Yeah, so I don't even remember when I started falling in love because I think I maybe around age 6 or age 7 that I started uh, books started to entice me or fascinate me. So and we had a lot of books in our house.
Mm-hmm,
My father was subscribing to many literary magazines,
mm-hmm,
and so from and children magazines like Chanda Mama. We used to have in our household every time like Chanda Mama, Parag, Sarita, those fortnightly magazines. Dharm Yug, I think was a very well-known name.
mm,
But these were Hindi magazines, and we used to subscribe to newspaper daily,
mm,
three of them. So my father used to love reading about current affairs,
mm,
and so uh, and I think in those days we did not have any social media. So the only thing that you are doing in the daytime, when the sun is blistering outside, you would grab a notebook or a book and you will start reading.
True.
And what I distinctly remember is one journey.
Mhm.
My father was in public sector organization, and we were in Gujarat, and we were traveling to Dehradun
Mhm.
in a 2 night long journey with a very slow train of those days.
Mhm.
And and I just grabbed a novel, and it was a
Mhm.
proper novel, a market novel, uh, not a classic one. And I was bored, and I was only 8 year old, and I read the novel back to back in 2 days.
Wow.
My father never interrupted me because I think he was happy that this child is just sitting tight and not moving around, and not, because they are very concerned about the safety. We were three daughters.
True. True.
And then it was magical. I no longer realized that I was sitting in a train
Mm.
with a lot of heat because it's the month of May, summers, and uh, there is the hot waves are there, and I just was transported to another world, to another
Lovely.
culture. It was a period drama, and it was magical. Then when I
Mm.
reached Dehradun and I found in my grandfather's library, there were many books, all kind of spy novels, thriller, and whatever genre that he used to read. For the next 30 days, I was only reading them.
Wow.
And then I realized that books are something which is fascinating and captivating. And maybe I was an introvert child by that
Mhm.
time. I was developing that introversion. And
Mhm.
I found that these are like my window to the different kind of world. I found it magical. So this is what my feeling. And to talk about books, I get that feeling. If I talk
Lovely.
about what made me read books or what made me a book lover.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Thanks for reminding that because my father used to work for the railways, and I remember the first class cabin that used to have. We had a shutter, and then we had those four berth. So we just lock
Yeah,
ourselves inside. He'd be busy reading his newspaper, so we would always carry a couple of books with us because we used to live in Guwahati during those days. We traveled to Chennai, so almost like साढ़े तीन दिन का travel है. So it used to
yeah,
be
yeah.
crazy. You have nothing else to do
Yes.
except read and keep buying those snacks that keeps coming across those
Yeah,
journey.
in big buckets of iron buckets. And I
Yeah.
remember that my father would get down and just, fetch those water. Like he would have a big water can, and the water available on the platform, which we never think of drinking today. We always carry water bottles. So
I
those
know.
were the days which are very carefree days. And then I just became a book lover. And then
Beautiful.
I just kept on reading. So I had a neighbor, auntie. She had a good collection of books, and she had this Russian books of Anton Chekhov,
Mm.
Dostoevsky, Leo Tolstoy, and I just kept on reading them.
All those dragon folklores of Russians coming out was always interesting,
Yeah.
right?
It was
Fantastic.
very interesting to just be transported to another world, another
True.
country, another
True.
culture. Yeah, very captivating.
Lovely. So tell me, when you moved on from those Chanda Mamas of the world and Tinklets of the world, you would have also
Mm.
had your hands on Indian items of the world for some time. And when you became a corporate leader and started moving up, how did
Mhm.
books play a very significant role in your evolution, Renu, as a leader?
Okay. So this question is leading me to a lot of reflection because I can't pinpoint on any point what has, uh, but I still believe, and I believe it very strongly and genuinely, that a lot of my character has been made by books.
Mm-hmm.
They have built my character. When I was very young, I remember a story called Har Ki Jeet by
Mm-hmm.
Sudarshan in Hindi, in which there is a dacoit and there's a
Mm-hmm.
sadhu. Sadhu has a very healthy horse. Uh, and the sadhu has a very lot of pride in that horse. The sadhu would move in the village in that horse. And the dacoit, what he does, he disguises like a handicapped person
Mm-hmm.
and takes a lift and then steals the dog, the horse.
Mm-hmm.
What I remember about the story was that, when the sadhu just tells to the dacoit that, don't tell this incident to anyone. He said, why? He said, because people will never have faith and trust on handicapped people, and they will never support them. So
Wow.
this this story and a lot of Premchand's story.
Yeah.
They built, I think, an element of fairness, element of you could see the inequities in the society.
Hmm.
You became just aware of them while we were living in a very cocooned environment, where your
True.
father is going to a 9 to 5 job, you have a
Yeah.
salary coming up every month, you don't even you're not waiting for the rains to come
Hmm.
so that your farm is progressing. You are not working in any business, there are ups and downs. So in that cocoon environment, these books, they opened a window, and I think what it built me in is a lot of fairness, lot of awareness about um, uh, existence of various classes in the world, and and then I also read a lot about the Indian freedom fighters. So we used to have
Ah,
books about them, their
lovely.
biography, and then it build a sense of lot of courage, that you need to be bold, and if you are clear, first of all, your element of having your own thought process
True,
and
true.
not just copying it from anybody else.
Hmm.
It is not an equation or it's not a physics or subject of chemistry where you just define the element and atom in one way.
True.
Here, when I was reading these books of literature, I think a lot of my uh, personality traits, like having an independent thought,
Hmm.
and giving consideration to people, and there's this big world out there, uh,
Hmm.
uh, and to have a very openness to various cultures. I think
Right.
all these characters got built up. So I would suggest that people should definitely read books because they are like a mirror to others culture, other society. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for
you're
putting
not
that
the only one
across.
in the world.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Thanks for putting this across on the channel because that's the very purpose of having this conversation. I think what comes across very strongly for young leaders here is you can't really say which book had what impact on you. Books have a very holistic impact on what you are and
Yeah.
what you've become, right? That's what you're saying, which is very interesting. And so many books that you have read over time, Renu. What made you
Particularly
pick?
the book of Mahatma Gandhi, his
Ah,
Experiments with Truth.
oh, yes.
It's a powerful book where
Very.
he himself is writing that he wanted to eat non-vegetarian food, and he
Hmm.
got his Muslim friend. He met him near a lamp post and he ate and didn't like the taste, whatever. But he tried
Yeah.
all those things which maybe was considered vices by
Hmm.
his family, but he felt through some emotion and he is writing about it. He was so truthful. So
True.
I think even this spirit of Gandhi also, I think I only came to know him through the book. I've never seen him, obviously.
Correct.
Yeah, so
Absolutely. I mean, when you say books have a great impact, so when very powerful fictional stories also have a great effect on you, biographies and autobiographies have far more effect because they're real, genuine examples. Whether you pick up
yeah,
Lenin, you pick up Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, or Mahatma Gandhi, they've got a
yeah.
pattern of real life experiences.
Recently, I'm reading Obama,
Ah,
yeah, and it's a
Promised
beautiful book,
Land.
very, very voluminous.
I
Um,
am also reading the same book now. I finished the Becoming last month, and I'm currently reading the Promised Land.
yeah.
Lovely.
So I've been reading it for the last, I think, 45 days. It's a beautiful book,
It is.
but not yet completed.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
a huge one. It's a huge one. Beautiful. So tell me, Renu, with all those books that you have read, what made you pick the book for the day, Atomic Habits by James Clear? Why this?
Yeah. So I think I'm not a great fan of self-help books
Oh,
personally, because I think uh, I go for fiction. As you said, the fictions are not real fictions. They are obviously the culmination of the experience of the
true.
author through various cultures, through various experiences, and so on. In fact, uh, but and I don't see this book Atomic Habits as a self-help book. I think it's
Hmm.
a book which works on your skill,
Hmm.
and I would recommend it to everybody. Like I recommend it to my son, who is 17, and he read the book. I am not very sure which thing that he has picked up from the book. Why I would recommend, and why I'm talking about the book, because it has impacted me a lot.
Sure.
So it was referred to me and our team in our office by our CEO.
Mm.
So it is not that CEO has asked, so we are talking about it. but when I read about the book, I just read one excerpt about the book where the author says that, you know, if you improve 1% every day,
Mm.
in the next 365 days, you would be compounding and you would be 37% better. And, and, and this made a lot of sense to me.
Mm.
And it was so out and clear.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was going through, I reread the book for today's discussion, but I read this book 2 years back, and I think I was going through a phase of complacency.
Okay.
In general, you know, when you get used to 9 to 5 working at times, though our working is always, you know, 24/7,
Yeah.
but then uh, many things become autopilot, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I felt that there's a complacency. Like I'm a fitness enthusiast, but I
Mm.
was just keeping to walkings only.
Mm.
I'll go for a walk. But
Mm.
there's but I always wanted a toned body,
Mm.
strong body, you know. And this book made me to go to gym. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's try on weights, trainings, try on planks, which I had never done before. Um, and and what I have found in this book is that, you know, it gives you a very clear cut direction on how to do it, how to build
Absolutely.
a habit. So it is like, you know, primer.
Yeah.
It is so clear. So I'm sure the author would have taken a lot of time to come to it, but it
Yes.
is so easy for us, like, as if it is there. You follow these 4 steps and then you can build.
It's
And
almost like a workbook.
yeah, and I tried it on. I used some, you know, stacking habits
True.
thing, and I could develop 2 or 3 new habits. So
Fantastic.
I'm a big fan of the book.
Fantastic. So you know what? After this particular call, whenever you get time, uh, take some time to write to James or write to the organization and the people. They will respond back because they love to see such stories and hear such stories. It'll be
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. You can always connect and do that. Beautiful.
Yes.
So let's get on to the first one. You know, he says small habits make a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that 1% has a huge impact compounding. So if you kind of bring these two together, how do you interpret this? Why is he saying that small habits has a huge difference?
So I think it can be interpreted in many ways. My own experience says that, you know, when I'm writing on certain things, when from my, as I said that I was reading books when I was maybe 7 or 8 year old,
Mm, mm,
so it reflected a lot in my essays. You know,
right.
I won many prizes. Like I was in Kendriya Vidyalaya, so there was an
Mm,
inter Kendriya Vidyalaya competition. I won there also, and my teachers used to ask me that, you know, how do you write for beautiful essays? You know,
mm.
and I would only link it to the books that I have read,
How lovely.
because, you know, yeah, it enhances your vocabulary, it
Mm,
enhances your thought process, your line of argument, and so on. So in this so I'm saying that if you have to work on your language skills, it is not that you undergo a 6 month or a 6 weeks course. I think if you do certain things maybe continuously,
mm.
in a span of 6 months to 8 months, definitely you are able to build on your vocabulary.
I agree.
Similarly, I've seen like uh, in my own son's case, you know, he wanted to build his strength. He's into soccer, and he would not. There were other students also of his age who would, when the tournament is near, they would immediately start, you know,
Mm,
going for their exercise. But my son would do it every day.
right.
He had a few days where he would take rest, and this is what I've found is that if you build it as one habit each day, every day, and you're regular, then it makes you successful, because habits have a compounding effect on that.
True,
As
true.
simple as, maintaining weight, if not losing. In
Mm,
my case, I also lost weight uh, consciously, but my eating habits, I worked a lot on my eating habits.
mm,
It was not that I went for a crash diet. No.
right.
So I have my niece who has some new event coming up in her family, and she was saying, "Oh, I'll go for a crash diet." And I said, "No. Rather, you do it every day. Just do maybe be regular in your eating habits, be regular in your exercise." So she was saying, yoga se kuch nahi hoga. So I told her ki I do yoga, and she said yoga se kuch nahi hoga. Maybe I have to hit gym. I have to do this thing. I said no, we have to be regular.
Absolutely.
And this is what the book says, that being regular, being just picking a small habit, even 2-minute thing, but doing a regular routine to that.
Absolutely. Beautiful example that you gave. As he talks about the small habits can have a compounding effect, he also says a very fundamental statement, and I think I come from a total quality management space and I've worked in the automobiles, so I understand the importance of processes and systems. But the way James has connected this in an area called habit, which is very difficult for human beings to really pick and break old habits, I think this is a very beautiful shift, and I would love to hear from you. Shifting from goals and start focusing on systems, I think is a huge paradigm shift in the head. How do you see this shift helping leaders?
Yeah, I think we are all very goal driven. We would just like to pick up the goals and we say, okay, let me just work on the goal.
Correct.
And we don't even realize. And when we are very goal focused, then there is more chances of failure.
Okay.
Because the goal can be very limiting. If I have a goal of, say, losing weight, I will just be focusing on my weighing scale, and maybe I'm going on a crash diet.
Possible.
It will have a bad effect on my hair, my skin, my overall bone structure, and when I'm middle aged, maybe my knees will also be impacted. So it has a wrong effect. But since your goal was to just hit that target, you say I'm quite successful. But if you focus on the system or the processes, that is more rewarding, that is more sustainable, and that is more logical and can be repeated. So take an example of so any quick fix. Then goals at times are quick fix solution.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know, for lack of good example, I'm just sharing with you that I had when I was in my hostel days. So I had this. So I had a small box of thread and needle, and I used to, if a button has been ripped off, I would choose the matching color and stitch it. So I had this roommate who always laughed at me because she had a, say, a red dress, and she would say, why are you using this red color thread? She would just use the white thread, and then you paint it red by a ink pen or whatever. So she did this, and I was thinking that, wow, she had a white shirt with some red thing, and she is using the white color thread and just painting it by red ink. I said, she's so smart, and why I'm not that smart? After that, what she washed the shirt, and all the color came out, and her entire shirt was ruined. So I said the process is so important,
Oh, lovely example.
Yeah, so we are only seeing the outcome, but we should always go through the process. The process will give us results. Be it in the case of, so I have seen there are speakers. I just met my friend today. She's a book writer, author rather. She has come out with a new book. So she was talking about it, and I was saying that how have you built this habit of of how could you come out with a book? What I found is that writing habit has to be also honed. There's a process to it. It is not that she just said that one day I'll come out with a book. Authors are not born just like
Overnight.
that. They have to build. And she talked a lot about how did she hone her habit of writing, and then she had a goal per day of certain pages, certain books, certain things were there, but it was not the goal that she was aiming for. She worked on the process aspect of it.
So beautiful, lovely example. I like the button example that you gave. That's a very powerful story. It just stays in the head. Fantastic. So there's another concept that James talks in this book. He talks about the fact that all of us are so outcome based, result based that you said, right? Moving from an outcome based to something called an identity based habit. He says is a very significant move. When he says that's long lasting, that is consistent and constant.
Yeah.
What is the difference between goal based and identity based? When you have a goal, you want to, let's say you want to reach an employee engagement score of, let's say, 70 to 75, you want to move in your organization. You want to have 15% of increment given to so many percentage of people. You may have a goal. I may have a goal of taking my company by 25% market growth this year than 1920. These are goals. I'll always work for that. What is
Yeah.
this identity based?
Yes, I think this is the crux of the book. If I would believe, besides the step that he has given on how to build a new habit, how to break an old habit, and there are 4-step rules. I think this is the crux of what we're talking about. That where he says that there are 3 layers of change. If you have to change the behavior, there are 3 layers. One is simply the outer layer is only outcome based, where you only see the outcome. You see the other person who is so fit, and you say, okay, I have to become fit, and I go for a crash diet. Then you talk about process based. So he's saying the outer layer is visible to all of us, goal based. But then you work on the processes, and 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 more organic change if you want to bring is the change that you bring through identity.
Okay.
Wherein he says that, and he can give lovely examples, and I would request the readers to go through it.
Sure.
He talks about a smoker. So there is this guy who says that he was a smoker, and then he worked on quitting smoking. So whenever he was offered a smoke, he would say, "No, I have quit smoking." But then he ended up smoking because But the day he said that, I'm not a smoker, so he changed his identity. So he said, I'm a non-smoker. Similarly, I can tell about myself that I used to, when as I said, I hit a plateau 2 years back, and I was thinking that, that I'm now 50-year-old, and I'm working in the role for a long time. My son is now grown up. So what is there for me in life? And I was telling many people in my friend circle that, I have led a mediocre life. And then I asked this question to myself: what is mediocre? Is it the right messaging that I'm doing? And I reflected, is my life mediocre? I'm doing a very decent job. There are people in my team who say that, that I'm a role model to them.
Right.
And, so how can I say that this is mediocre?
Absolutely.
And, so I said, no, I will never use this sentence. Use this term for myself. This term doesn't identify me. So I said, I'm somebody, who would become better version of myself. I'm somebody who is, continuously evolving and learning. And this helped me a lot. This positive messaging and this real identity of me helped me to look life in a different way.
How lovely.
Yeah. So I think it's very important to go for the identity-based changes, where you say that I'm somebody who is a fit person. So I have my friends in my team. Whenever we have lunch time, and and I choose, and when we're ordering for lunch, I will choose, something which is low carb or whatever. I find them going for the other choices, heavy masala, and then they say that, we are foodie. But then I think that is they if they change their identity, know that we are somebody who would take a healthy meal and be fit, then I think they will be able to go for the right choices of me.
True.
And don't feel bad, because after that heavy thing, they would say, okay, now we'll have to skip dinner, and which they never skip. So I keep on saying, never say that I'm a foodie, I'm somebody who would not exercise. Rather, you say, no, I am somebody who would choose the right kind of food, right kind of exercises, and I'll do it. So first thing is about your own identity.
Absolutely. And it's so interesting, right? Because the moment you say identity based, you're suddenly elevating the entire thought process, right? It's not transactional to the level of just an outcome. अच्छा इसको achieve करना कर लिया, दूसरा achieve करना कर लिया, वैसा नहीं है. It's you
But
as that individual.
Rajiv, it may appear so obvious, and you may say that you're fooling your mind, but it has happened with me, because I was very poor driver,
Okay.
So, and I would always say that, I don't have a sense of direction. ऐसे ही बोलती थी हमेशा कि somebody saying left, and I'll just take a right turn. So I would say, I don't have. The day I said, no, I'm a good driver, I am the one who has driven 3 kind of cars and so on. And I never used this term that I always said I'm a good driver. I can read maps. I can
Mm.
make sense of maps. And I planned maybe ahead, if I'm going to a new place and I know that, I would be in the anxiety moment, I would lose my track. I would start early. And then 2, 3 instances later, I said, no, I'm a great driver.
As simple as that. Such a powerful one, isn't it? That small, it's a very small shift in the head, but it's got a huge impact. Very, very
Yes.
positive. Very positive. Tell me on the next one, which is very interesting. And I had not heard about this formula till I read the book, and I'm assuming you also would not have heard it till you read the book. The
Mhm.
habit stacking formula.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you see it so powerful, Renu, and why do you think leaders should kind of cling on to this and make this a habit itself of stacking?
Yeah, so every day, we have this question that how do I build a new habit? And we see people, who go for walks for
Hmm,
2 days or 3 days, and they would like to go for regular walks, but
hmm,
after third day they would say, no, we could not, we did
hmm,
not, and then they would give justification, and
hmm,
then they would start loathing themselves.
hmm,
Uh, so I think habit stacking is a beautiful takeaway from this book,
hmm,
and I have also applied it.
hmm,
So the habit stacking is what the author says is that so you would have a current habit,
hmm.
and you want to build a new habit, the
Right.
habit that you aim for. Associate or do this habit just after that. So, for example, you would like to monitor your weight.
Okay.
So you would say that obviously you have a habit of taking bath every day.
Hmm, hmm,
So after the ritual of your bath, you will say, after I take my bath at 8 a.m. in the morning or 7:30 in the morning, I'll weigh my weight
right.
and I'll put it on the whiteboard if it is next to me,
Hmm,
or just take a pic of it.
hmm,
So this habit of so you wanted to add the new habit of monitoring your weight, but
hmm.
you are stacking it with the current habit.
Right.
I have done this particularly in the Corona times,
Hmm,
which still are continuing. So the gyms were all closed, and so I wanted to at least continue with the walks.
hmm,
I was feeling too maybe lazy to do yoga and all those stuff. So I wanted to go for walks. So, and I was not going at all. So in the
hmm,
morning, I would say I'll do it in the evening. And then I would say, oh, I got a call in the evening. So I told my team member, don't keep any call after 6 o'clock. That's a
right.
separate thing, not
Right.
about habit stacking. But I kept my shoes in front of me around 5 o'clock.
Hmm,
And 5:30, if the call is ending, so I told myself, as soon as my day is over, my last call is over, I'll wear my walking shoes and I'll go for a walk.
beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
I did this. So,
Okay.
in fact, the other day, one of my colleagues, he said that, in the COVID time, we all gained weight, but how could are you
Right.
doing workout and all this thing? I said, no, no, but I definitely did walk so religiously. And I
Right.
just stacked this habit of walking. 5:30, the call ends. At times,
Hmm.
the call ends at 6:30 also. It was dark outside, but I said, no, no, I have told this, so just wear my shoes
Hmm.
and go for a walk. Yeah.
So nice. No, what I'm able to understand, and I think it's a powerful learning for all the young leaders. So you spoke about the last call, and then you may get sucked into some other house errand, cooking, or something else would happen. Before the next sucks you in, you have quickly jumped into this and said, I'm going to do this after the end of the last call, and then move into it. So
Yeah.
you're completely pushing that other bit that will suck you and not allow you to do this.
Mhm.
You're able to consistently
Yeah.
do this because you
So
stacked it
I
so
know of
beautifully.
people in my team in Shankar. Some of them told me that
Hmm.
they have a habit of doing you know um, 3 push-ups whenever they go to the washroom.
Hmm.
So they wanted to do 2 push-ups.
Hmm.
They said, whenever I go to the washroom, I come back. Before I come back to my table, near my table or my chair or my bed, I will do 2 push-ups
Wow. Very
or two
interesting.
burpees. So they have told that they have been quite successful.
Beautiful. I think very, very simple. What is interesting, as you rightly said when we started, James have actually done a lot of research and put it in such simple, applicable tool कि anybody, whether it is Renu or Rajiv or ABC, can pick it up and apply it. आपका stacking अलग होगा, मेरा stacking अलग होगा, but it will help us to build that new habits. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. That takes me to the next one. Tell me how do you see this? He talks about something called the need for reviewing good habits. Why is it so important to review a good habit?
Yeah, so I think this is one of the, again, one of the most powerful, theme that is in the book, that, even if you have a very good habit, you need to review it.
Okay.
Uh, as I said, you may have the best habits, but then uh, if you have to go to the next level, and everybody, this is what excellence is all about. You talked about excellence, no?
True, true.
Excellence is all about, going to the next orbit, repositioning yourself, or becoming better version of oneself.
Correct.
And we also know that, to to be on the same place in the treadmill, you have to keep running.
Correct.
So yeah, and so he says, and I think this is very powerful for all of us, that after a certain point, first of all, you take your own time, 2-minute thing, and habit stacking and all those stuff to build a new habit.
True.
Then you should be able to maybe take the help of a coach or a friend or yourself. You just review the habit and build an element of delta in it, or see the habit is working for you, because the environment is changing,
Right.
the environment is totally changing. So I may be having a habit of maybe reading certain kind of books, but if AI is the theme of the day, or it's coming up, then I should be able to change. So change my genres of books that I'm reading. Yeah. And similar, like, I would say that I was an avid reader of newspaper first thing in the morning, but in the corona times, I found that I've become very depressed. The news is so depressing, and every day you're reading, and you are in lockdown. You're not able to do something great about it. So I gave up the habit of reading the newspaper. I said I'll do it in the evening time when I'm better, equipped about the day, how the day has progressed, and it has helped me. This habit, which maybe has been there for the last so many years, I gave it up and I changed it.
Wow.
I think it's very important to review the habit. Similarly, I can tell about myself that I've been, walking for fitness for maybe 12 years or so. But then I found that with age, and with your bone not becoming so dense, I need to, add some more muscle, some tone. Body should be toned. And I went to gym, as I said.
Okay.
So I said no. So my friend said, we are walking. You're already in a better shape in the sense of weighing scale.
Why would
The
you want to
number
go to
is
the gym?
okay. So why do you want to go? I said, no, I want to tone my body. I want to build some muscles around it. I would just try to build some strength and work on my core. So I relate this to, reviewing the habit and then adding some more stress to it. Because as I said, excellence is the name of the game.
Correct, correct. Excellence is a pursuit that's constantly there. I think you very rightly said, and you also spoke about a stage in your career where you said there's some kind of complacency that's set in. I think reviewing habits also helps us to not, go to that complacency and kind of keep pushing the delta within us, right? It's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Recently, we have also in our own organization, we have exited a few people, who were good performers, but and they've been in the role for a long time, pretty long time, and very decent performer in that role. And these are like kind of senior roles, but we said that they're not attuned to what's happening around. They are not. They have not changed with the times. They are not bringing the external intelligence into the system.
Okay.
And we had to, sadly ask them to leave.
Oh.
So this is what I'm saying, that we may have the best habit, but we need to review, because we have to build that element of excellence. We also have to build the element of the new context, and to win, we will have to raise the bar.
Beautiful. I think that's a very good example you gave, Renu, because that just makes me think, and thank you for that. I've not thought in that angle. Reviewing a habit also helps you to stay current and stay relevant.
Yeah.
Right? I had not thought from that angle, but that's a very, very nice perspective. And you can become anachronistic and get thrown out of the system. to
Mhm.
ensure that you don't, it's always good to review your habit and stay current and relevant.
I know the CHR of this organization. So he said that they use some assessment tool. I'm forgetting the assessment tool's name. So,
Mhm.
so what they say for new joiner, new hire, they would always insist that the person should have this kind of score on the tool.
Mm.
And then I said, what about your existing people?
Mm.
He said that every year we ask our people to undergo that assessment.
Okay.
And whatever is the average score, we say
Mm.
now they add an element of delta that now any new hire, so suppose score is 56, they will hire any newcomer at
Mm.
10% above.
Mm.
So that, they keep on infusing people with
Right.
high intellect, high capability.
Mm.
And obviously when you see, you learn through induction also. When you see somebody else, you soak, Yesterday in
True.
the book, I was reading the word soak, just soak many things from observing from other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lovely one. Very, very nice. We've been talking on these good habits for some time now, but I'm going to ask you this question. You gave the example of that smoker who said, I am a non smoker now, an identity based habit. So he stopped smoking. How does one break a bad habit? It's tough, Renu. It's almost like a gravity that pulls you down, right? How do you do
Yeah.
it? Can you help those young leaders to work on breaking a bad habit? That's the first
Yeah.
step.
So if we read this book, and as I say, why this book is so close to me, because it makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
I have myself applied, and I've got people who have used this book. So I would say as the author says that there are 4 steps to build a new habit.
Hmm.
And it says, he also says, if you reverse it, you
Hmm.
can break the habit. So if you have to make things obvious, make the cue obvious for building a new habit. For example, if you want to build a reading habit,
Hmm.
and this is what somebody had told me a long time back when my son was 3 years old. I said I want him to be a good reader.
Hmm.
She said, keep the books everywhere in the house.
Ah.
So I said, no, I want them to be in the bookshelf. He said, no, don't be so, don't think that they are like some piece of dirt that they are lying here. No, if it's lying on a sofa, it is not bad. So keep a book everywhere so that the child can grab it and start reading it.
Lovely. Hmm.
So this is a cue to make it obvious. And the author says that to break a bad habit, reverse it.
Okay.
I can tell about myself. I used to love this Haldiram Bhujia a lot. And so if I'm watching some uh, YouTube, or if I'm watching some video, even
You're
if it's
munching.
a TED talk also, I'm munching. So the first thing, I stopped ordering it in big basket. Like that was the first thing. I said I will not order it at all. And so it was not obvious in my house, and you believe that I will not go down to
Hmm.
the market to buy that thing.
Hmm.
It's a deterrent.
True.
There are smokers, that if there's a kiosk just near the office, they can always walk down. But if you remove the kiosk
Hmm.
selling cigarettes, you it becomes a deterrent. Who will just walk down in the heat of
All the
day,
way. True.
all
True.
the way across the road, kind of thing?
Hmm.
So similarly, making it unattractive also. The author says that by making something unattractive also, you say make it attractive, just reverse it,
Hmm.
reverse all the cues, and you can break a bad habit. Uh, mm, I can say that in my case,
Hmm.
I generally keep my phone very near to my bed.
Okay.
I think we most of us has this habit. I would say it's a bad habit. We use the phone for alarm as well. And when your sleep gets disturbed, you would always grab the phone and start watching. There are so many things to watch.
I know.
And then I decided I'll keep my phone so far away that I will
Hmm.
have to walk down. So I will just keep it near the closet and put some more clothes in it so that it's hidden. Yeah. And this has helped me a lot, and my sleep has become more peaceful these
How
days.
beautiful.
Yeah,
For a moment when he said that, it sounded very, very childlike
very childlike.
behavior, right? But I think the
Yeah,
childlike behavior had a very strong purpose to it, right? That's what was very interesting.
yeah, it appears very childlike. Yeah,
No, but effect कितना बढ़िया है ना? I
but
mean,
it has worked with me.
it worked. No, absolutely. I
Yeah,
mean, how does it matter whether it is childlike or whether adult like? It doesn't matter. Your
Mhm.
system is yours, my system is mine. But as long as we're able to get that habit off, the day,
Mhm. Yeah.
good for us. Lovely, lovely,
Yeah.
beautiful
And
conversation.
I had this habit of, so whenever I would travel to Chennai or to Bangalore out for my work or
Mm.
Calcutta, I'll always pick up some saris. I
Mm.
invariably, because you will always find some boutique near your office. So in the evening
True.
you'll pick up. Then I found that they're just lying there. So it's a
Mm.
waste of investment. So I said that, if I have to buy a sari, one sari, I have to remove two from my closet. That
Oh.
rule I told to everybody in my house, so that if I don't do it, they will laugh at me. And
Mm.
I'm a person, of certain stature. We would all like to be respected by
True.
your own family members.
Yeah.
And I found that, it's so difficult to remove your existing saris because you all love them.
Mm.
Uh, you love all of them, rather, in my case at least. So I found in the last 4 or 5 years, I've not traveled in the last 1 year, but in the 4 or 5 years, I just stopped this habit, of
Mm.
binge buying of saris.
Binge buying of sarees, I like that. Very true, very true, very,
So to
very
make
true.
a habit, make it difficult. So the author says that, make things a bit difficult
Yeah, yeah.
to obtain. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that the example that you gave was very interesting because James very clearly says that make it very unattractive so that I don't want to keep it with me anymore. I want to just throw it off my table or my environment. Very nice.
Yeah.
So that's a lovely, lovely conversation I had with you. That brings me to the last question, which is very important for all the young leaders. With all the years of experience that you have garnered, the books that you have read, and the belief that you have that books play a very, very significant role in making what we are today, expanding us, amplifying us. What are two razor sharp advices that you would love to give the young leaders?
I think there are many advices which can come from this book. It's a lovely book. And otherwise, also for after this conversation, I would say that, tell the readers to, first of all, make book reading a habit. So you may also go for audio book. Uh, like in my case, I can talk about habit stacking. I was not reading books for a long time in the last
Mm-hmm.
6 to 8 months. I was not, I, when you have work from home kind of setup, every day is a work. You can
True.
always say that you can always make the email more attractive. You can always make the presentation for maybe after 5 days, which is a presentation, but you can
Yeah.
always work on it from today itself because you are free,
Mm.
working from home. Then I said, okay, I'm not able to read books. So for the first time, I went for audible.com.
Ah,
This is
mm.
in the month of May last year. My friend in fact, referred to me, recommended rather. And then evening, as soon as the office is over, I'll pick my shoes, go for a walk, and and this is the park. It's not a busy road. So it's in the safe park, if there's a track built, I would put my audible. So I've read many books,
How
many,
nice.
many books I've been able to read in the last 8 months because of this. So I would request them to develop a book reading habit. It leads to success. I'm sure about it.
True.
That is one. And to make a new habit, I think it's very important to know that habit have a compounding impact. I have to
Beautiful.
say, a small change has a compounding impact, and we are what we are, accumulation of our habits.
Mm.
If our skin is not perfect or not good because maybe we had a very poor habit, but if our skin is better because we had a good habit of cleaning it,
I agree.
taking care of our body, our vocabulary, our even our own engagement with our own team members.
True.
We have built this habit. So please try habit stacking. It is wonderful
Yeah, yeah.
to develop a new habit.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. The one is, guys, get to reading as a habit. And two, your habit stacking as a powerful tool that you can start using. For all doing this, please go pick up the book, read the book. After this conversation, this is an audible format, a gist of the book. The book has got multiple pages, paragraphs or paragraphs
Yeah.
that expands what Renu is talking about.
It's a
Go,
beautiful book. Yeah.
absolutely. Go pick up the book. It's a very, very easy to read and easy to interpret and very easy to, I wouldn't say easy to apply, but yes, you can still work on applying it. You can see the effect quite quick.
Yeah. I, yeah, as you said, it's like a workbook and we definitely can apply. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Superb. Thank you so much for coming on this, Renu, and talking. I thoroughly enjoyed this 45 minutes of conversation. I hope you had a good time.
I had a good time. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much from the core of my heart for inviting me.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much, Renu. Look
Thanks a
forward to
lot.
see you soon. Till then,
Bye.
keep reading, and I'm going to
See you in
finish the
person.
Promised Land. You're going to finish the Promised Land together.
Yeah. Okay. Let's share our notes.
We'll do
Okay.
that.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye. Bye.